Hello, everybody. I am deciding to pop up here and make a little bit of a video sharing some of what I've learned working on America Talks and the Unified Challenge for Colorado. For people who are watching this, people who know me, for a long time, I have tried to figure out how to unify folks, to get folks to work together across differences. And a lot of that is based on my background, some of which some of you know, some of which you don't know. But I'm sharing it because I'm learning a lot as I talk to different Americans from different walks of life and different backgrounds, and kind of understanding that we don't even mean the same thing sometimes when we say American. And I think it's important for us to both know that there are different ways that people define that term and different feelings that come up for people when they hear that term and when they look at themselves and call themselves an American. Over the course of my life, I've been a lot of different types of Americans. My dad was an immigrant. He was super grateful to be here. And when he first got to this country and became a citizen, he was very excited about the opportunities that he had here coming from another country and realizing that he was going to be able to do things here that he wasn't able to do anywhere else. And he would often say to me with a lot of intensity that as a person who was born here, I had an obligation to live into the fullest expression of being an American as I could. Part of that for me ended up being going into the military. And my dad was a really strong Democrat. On the other side, I spent a lot of time being raised by my grandmother. And my grandmother, she was old school and she identified as a Republican because she wasn't that far from people who had experienced slavery. And so she had the notion that we should roll with the party of Abraham Lincoln. And so she shared a bunch of stuff with me and what it meant to her to be an American. And over the course of the 40 plus years that I've been here, engaging with different people, talking to people, listening to their stories, a lot of people, if you ask them whether they're frustrated with the country or whether they think it's the best thing since the best thing, they all have an intense feeling about what it means to be an American, whether they think we're succeeding or whether they think we're failing. And then if you go to other countries, which I've been to, and had different people express what they think it means to be American, that is also a different point of view. I went to China one time, and the person met me, and they said, "What part of Africa are you from?" That was the thing they said, like right out of the box, and I said, "Oh, I'm not from Africa. I'm from America." And they said, "Well, you're not white." That was their response. So from their perspective, America and American looks like a different way. Not there, but that one person's perspective. Same time, I was once in Panama, and I could blend in Panama with no problem. So I could walk around, and it wasn't like walking around in some places here. But some of my white friends who were stationed there too, they had a completely different experience, an experience that was not something that they were used to. And being an American meant something different over there. In fact, I know a guy, he made a mistake and made a wrong turn, and people saw his white skin. They surrounded him and they were like, American. And they were shaking his van, and he was freaking out. Meanwhile, I could walk down the street, no one would say a word to me. I'd have to think anything about anything. And so that too gave me a perspective on what it means to be an American. But one of the things that excites me and disappoints me about this experiment that we call being an American is that so many of us don't talk to each other. So many of us talk about each other. We make up stories about each other. We let symbols and voting records, which obviously there's things to be said about that, but to some degree, we make it be bigger than the person. And we don't allow relationship to be a part of how we make decisions, no matter what side we seem to find ourselves on. And so that's what I'm trying to foster with America Talks and also with the Unified Challenge for Colorado. And so my question for people is, when did you realize that you were an American and what does that mean to you? When did you first understand that there was also a responsibility that comes with living in this place, even if this place hasn't served you the best. Before Facebook dropped me, it said I was about to say that one of the things I learned from Martin Luther King Jr. is there can't be great disappointment without great love. And when really took that to the deepest level, I realized that a lot of disappointment that I felt with my experience in this country from time to time was that somewhere in there was some deep love. There was some idea or ideal that told me that there was something that we could be here, some things that we could do here, that if we put in the effort and we allowed ourselves to be transformed by relationship, that some really awesome things could happen here because we had the people, we got the resources, we got the potential. We just need to work on getting the will. And so I can't control other folks and I can't 100% control myself, but I can influence myself and hopefully have some influence on others. And a part of that is trying to create spaces where people can ask deep questions, wrestle with the answers that they've been told, because a lot of us have been told things and we haven't actually had our own experiences. And I don't know what it is about people that we value our own opinions more than we value actual experience. I know people who have some really sincere feelings about things they've never even been exposed to. I totally don't understand that. But hey, it's never too late to actually have an experience. And so I want to invite folks to participate in America Talks or the Unified Challenge for Colorado if you're a Coloradan, and learn to talk to other people, be in relationship with other people who are different than you. And just because you heard something about somebody doesn't mean you know something about people. And it doesn't mean they know anything about you. But when we get to know one another on a deeper level, sometimes we find that we got a lot more in common than we thought we did, and that we can create some things that we never knew was possible. So I'm just putting that out there. If you have any questions, you know where to find me.